Prosecutors are now preparing to present their cases against 3 other officers involved in last year's fatal arrest of George Floyd. Each of those former officers faces a charge of aiding and abetting second-degree murder. That carries a maximum sentence of up to 40 years behind bars. They're also charged with aiding and abetting second-degree manslaughter, which carries a maximum sentence of 10 years. A joint trial is scheduled to begin on August 23rd. Lorenzo Boyd is the Vice President for Diversity and Inclusion and Chief Diversity Officer at the University of New Haven. He's also a nationally recognized leader in police and community and police relations. He joins me now from New Haven, Connecticut. Lorenzo, thank you so much for being here. And I know we were on together last night watching this verdict come down. So if we could kind of go back, it's been 24 hours. I'm wanting to know your thoughts and feelings about how are you reflecting on the impact of this trial now that you've had some time to process it?
Now that I've been thinking about it, I think that my point yesterday is even more salient. This is the best possible outcome, not only for the community, but also for policing, because the vast majority of police officers are people that are really trying to do a good job, but they get hamstrung by knucklehead police officers doing criminal things. So now they can distance themselves and say, this is not what is supposed to happen. And again, now the healing process for the community can begin as well.
And Lorenzo, I think one of the more striking things watching this trial was seeing a former police chief take the stand against a former police officer. From a police culture perspective, can you tell us how significant it was that the Minneapolis police chief testified against former Officer Chauvin? And do you expect to see him take the stand against the other 3 officers who are awaiting trial?
Well, it was amazingly significant, not that just the chief did, but also the training officer, the training lieutenant, the sergeant, other officers, because people are standing up. And we have this duty to intervene is inherent in policing. So the fact that good police officers are standing up saying that bad police officers are doing bad things, it's a chip in this blue wall of silence. And that's something that came out of the last decade of policing. As we move forward in policing, we're going to start moving towards more accountability in policing, because the line of demarcation for modern policing was, in fact, the murder of George Floyd. Everything that we know in policing changes from this point forward.
And there's been some more news over the past 24 hours. Today, the Justice Department announced an investigation into the Minneapolis Police Department for possible patterns of discrimination and excessive force. How do those investigations work?
Well, they have to look at, first of all, what are the policies? There are 3 things that we look at when we do assessments of police. One is the policy, what's supposed to happen. Then the procedures, how are you supposed to do it? And the third is the practice, what actually happens. And there tends to be a disconnect a lot of times between the policies and procedures when people are looking and the practice when people are not looking. So an overall assessment of policing, I think it's healthy for policing. It's healthy for society to look at policing every now and again, just to have a checks and balances to make sure that the things that are supposed to happen do in fact actually happen.
And during the Obama presidency, the DOJ conducted 12 such investigations into police departments. Under President Trump, that number dropped to just 1 in 4 years. I know you've talked about the importance of reform starting at the department level, but what role do you see the federal government, federal oversight playing in all of that?
I think federal oversight is absolutely needed. To borrow a term from the final summation of the OJ trial, when Johnny Cochran asked the term rhetorically, who polices the police? We can't let the police fix this on their own. The police are not able to do this. They need legislative oversight. They need federal oversight. We need a roadmap going forward. In the final report on 21st century policing under President Obama, pillar number 1 is building trust and legitimacy. That's the main pillar in policing. And this oversight will be the thing that helps us get us back on the right track.
And Lorenzo, when he was campaigning for president, Biden talked about establishing a commission to address some of these issues, and he's since abandoned that and instead is pushing for reform in terms of legislation on Capitol Hill. Is that the right move at this point, do you think?
It's not one or the other. I think both are absolutely needed. I would like to see another commission similar to the Mullen Commission or the Christopher Commission or the Knapp Commission, because these commissions told us a lot about policing. It told us about the ugly underbelly of policing sometimes. So I would absolutely like to see a commission in addition to having legislation. I think both of them are needed because we need a holistic approach of viewing policing. That way, good men and women in policing are allowed to do their jobs.
All right, we'll see how this shapes up on Capitol Hill for sure in the coming days. Lorenzo Boyd, thank you so much for being with us again. We appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me.